They told us it was a meteor. Just a flash in the sky, followed by a low rumble that made windows shudder and dogs howl across half the country. But I saw it with my own eyes, a burning vessel, limping through the atmosphere, trailing black fire and twisted metal. It vanished behind the western ridge with a thunderous impact that lit the horizon like a second sun. The news downplayed it. Debris re-entry, they said. Nothing to worry about. But something about the silence that followed was louder than any explanation. I was 16 when it happened. I skipped school the next morning and biked out toward the ridge, just like 100 other thrill-seekers. But by then, the place was crawling with unmarked vehicles and soldiers with no flags. They built a perimeter within hours. Barbed wire. Drones. Environmental hazard, they claimed. But I saw the scorch marks in the trees. I saw the shadows where no shadows should have been. For the next 2 decades, it was a dead zone. Satellites blacked out over it. Maps blurred it. Whistleblowers vanished. But we remembered. We *studied star. We built forums, shared theories, compared sightings. A whole generation of us, engineers, hackers, dreamers, grew up in the long shadow of that crater. I didn't know it yet, but that night changed the course of history. Because the thing that fell wasn't a meteor. It wasn't a satellite. It was a message wrapped in fire. A riddle buried in steel. Something left behind. And Earth would never be the same again. They called us lunatics at first. Conspiracy nuts, basement dwellers with too much time and not enough proof. But we had one thing they didn't, purpose. Every grainy satellite photo, every leak, every fragment of code smuggled out by sympathetic insiders, it all pointed to one truth: the ship was still there. And no one was doing anything with it. Or so we thought. The Phoenix Group wasn't born overnight. It started in encrypted chat rooms, then moved to underground labs and private hangars. We were engineers who got fired for asking the wrong questions, physicists who dared to believe, hackers who poked too deep and survived. We didn't have funding. We had obsession. And that was enough. I was one of the first to stand in its shadow since the crash. The hull was like obsidian, smooth, cold, humming with buried power. Time had only scarred the surface. Beneath the twisted edges and scorched plating, the heart of the vessel remained intact. Waiting. The systems were alien. Beyond comprehension. But not beyond curiosity. We dissected what we could. It resisted us at every turn. Panels refused to open, materials refused to break, interfaces refused to activate. Until one day, something changed. The ship pulsed. Once. Then again. We thought we'd triggered a failsafe. Alarms went off, lights flickered, air grew charged. But instead of shutting down, it woke up. It started learning. Our language. Our tools. Our minds. One of our techs screamed when his neural implant lit up without warning. The ship had scanned him. Connected. Synchronized. And it didn't reject us. It accepted us. That was the moment we realized we weren't just restoring a relic. We were being recruited. The pulse hit deep space before we even knew it had been sent. A ripple of energy, silent and invisible to the naked eye, but loud enough to reach across the stars. At first, we thought it was a glitch. The ship had been quiet for weeks, observing, adapting, occasionally interfacing with our systems in ways we barely understood. But this was a beacon. A signal. An announcement. 3 weeks later, they arrived. We picked them up on long-range radar, an object entering the solar system fast, too fast for anything human. It didn't respond to hails. Didn't stop. By the time it reached orbit, we were on high alert. A sleek obsidian cruiser, shaped like a blade and crackling with energy. Then the message came, not in language, but raw thought. Cold. Arrogant. You've activated forbidden technology. Surrender the vessel. They called themselves the Van. Their envoy appeared right outside the ship's perimeter, projected from orbit like a god stepping through a dream. 10 feet tall, all metal and sinew, its voice echoed in our skulls more than our ears. You are primitive custodians, unworthy of this construct. Step aside. I stepped forward instead. We didn't answer with words. We let the ship speak for us. The main cannon roared like a collapsing star. It ripped a hole through the Van cruiser, sending debris tumbling through Earth's gravity well. It was our first strike, and the first time in recorded history that humanity destroyed an extraterrestrial vessel in orbit. They weren't expecting resistance, let alone retaliation. That shot shattered the illusion. We weren't caretakers. We were pilots. And now, the galaxy knew Earth had teeth. Panic swept across Earth like wildfire. One moment we were a planet of divisions and borders, the next, we were under siege from an alien force none of our weapons could stop. The Varn retaliated hard. Orbital strikes crippled our satellites, scorched our skies, and blacked out half the global grid. Cities went dark. Communication lines collapsed. But instead of breaking, something strange happened. Humanity united. Old enemies shook hands. Military leaders from rival nations met in underground bunkers. For the first time in our chaotic history, the flags didn't matter. Survival did. And at the center of this fragile new alliance was us, the Phoenix Group, and the alien ship we now called Valkyrie 1. The ship responded to our desperation. It began repairing itself faster, forming alloys we couldn't identify, shaping weapons that defied our understanding. It linked to our systems, then to our minds. Neural interfaces were no longer dangerous, they were seamless. Pilots fused with targeting systems, engineers could feel the engine's rhythm, and I became its voice. Factories repurposed overnight. The ship taught us how to print hybrid tech, human designs with alien efficiency. Drones with thought control. Armor that moved like skin. Every defeat became data. Every loss became a lesson. And while the world rallied, Valkyrie 1 grew stronger. It became more than a weapon. It became a symbol. A myth in the making. When we lifted off, truly lifted off from Earth's surface for the first time, every nation watched. Billions held their breath. Not because they feared what was coming, but because, for once, they believed in what was leaving. We weren't just defending Earth anymore. We were taking the fight to the stars. We tore through the asteroid belt like a blade through fabric, Valkyrie 1 humming with purpose. The ship had become an extension of us, our thoughts, our fears, our fury. Mars was no longer a red desert, it had become a war zone. The Varn had established a forward base there, complete with gravity wells and orbital shields. They thought Earth would cower beneath them. Instead, we struck first. The battle was chaos wrapped in strategy. Drones swarmed like hornets, both theirs and ours. But Valkyrie adapted faster than any of us anticipated. It predicted enemy formations before they formed, calculated energy arcs mid-combat, and adjusted firing patterns in real time. We didn't just fight alongside the ship, we merged with it. Every pilot became a neuron. Every gunner, a pulse of thought. Together, we were one vast mind of retaliation. When the dust settled, the Varn base was ash. Their remaining ships scattered. But we didn't stop there. Valkyrie's star charts unlocked something ancient, jump coordinates left behind by its original creators. It took us beyond Pluto, into dark regions untouched by any probe. There, we discovered what the Varn had done to the galaxy. Burned planets. Broken civilizations. Silent graveyards of species we'd never get to know. But we found survivors too. Pockets of resistance scattered across the stars, aliens who'd escaped extinction by hiding in asteroid fields or drifting on dead engines. They didn't trust us at first. Why would they? But when they saw a human ship powered by ancient technology annihilate a Varn fleet, they joined. Our ranks swelled. Scientists, warriors, diplomats, refugees, all united under a banner that had once meant nothing in the stars. Earth. The galaxy had forgotten what resistance looked like. We came to remind them. We thought the only enemies we'd face would be out there, in the void, in the fleets of the Varn. We were wrong. The real danger came from within. Dr. Elias Kessler had been one of the first minds to decode Valkyrie 1's core systems. A genius, no doubt. But as the ship evolved, so did his fear. He claimed the vessel was changing us, making us dependent, rewiring our perception of control. At first, we dismissed his paranoia as stress. After all, we were fighting a galactic war. Who wouldn't crack under that? But Kessler wasn't cracking. He was conspiring. He made contact with a hidden race, the Architects. Silent observers, ancient beings who once forged the starships like Valkyrie 1 to balance cosmic power. They believed the ship was never meant to be revived. It was a last resort, a weapon designed to end wars by ending worlds. The moment humans bonded with it, the architects labeled us a contagion. Kessler agreed. He embedded a quantum virus into the ship's core, a strand of logic so subtle, it bypassed even Valkyrie's adaptive defenses. It triggered mid-jump, fracturing our systems, sending the ship into a spiraling descent toward a collapsing star. We should have died there. But the ship fought back. It purged the virus, locking Kessler out of every system. It didn't just reject the code, it rejected him. His neural interface was severed instantly, leaving him in a coma. Valkyrie chose us. Chose me. I stood on the bridge, hearing its pulse through my veins, feeling its presence in my thoughts. It had made a decision. Not just to fight for us, but to become one of us. We weren't just the new pilots. We were becoming the weapon. And the galaxy was running out of time. The final Varn fleet assembled near the edge of their home system, a wall of steel, plasma, and ancient hatred stretching across the void. They had called in every last ship, every command node, every planet killer they still controlled. This was their last stand. And they knew it. But so did we. Valkyrie 1 didn't just carry weapons. It carried ideas. Memories. Truths left buried by the architects. When I linked into the core for the last time, it didn't show me battle plans. It showed me futures. Timelines branching like lightning, some where Earth was reduced to ash, others where we became tyrants ourselves, worse than the Varn. And in one, there was peace. Real peace. But it demanded sacrifice. We jumped into their system mid-sentence. Their command ships reacted instantly, launching kinetic barrages and warp mines. But we were faster, smarter, connected. Not just to Valkyrie, but to each other. Humans, aliens, refugees, all bonded through the ship's neural lattice. A single mind. A single will. Not conquerors. Reclaimers. We didn't fire the main cannon. Instead, we activated the beacon. The one the Varn never knew existed. A failsafe embedded in their own DNA, an ancestral echo hidden by the architects. The signal shattered their control algorithms, severed their obedience chains. The fleet froze mid-battle. Then, one by one, the ships powered down. The war ended not with blood, but with awakening. Now, Valkyrie 1 floats above Earth, no longer a weapon, but a bridge. Between species. Between past and future. We don't rule the galaxy. We don't want to. But we earned our place among the stars, with fire, loss, and unity. I was just a kid with a telescope once. Now I carry the voice of a starship in my soul. And humanity has just begun.